Thank you. I don't know where to start. Let's say, first of all, this season and the way things ended last night was a very special one for me with both Brian and Steven on staff. It was a tremendous feeling to be able to put my arms around them and celebrate the results of last night. Amanda had a game Saturday, and she flew into the game. Was down there as well, so it was great to have all three kids on the field after the game. And Linda and Katie and Ashley. I'm sure my mom was watching it, but she was able to stay awake for the whole game. And my dad had a seat on the 50-yard line for this one. Some of his close friends, Coach Hart and Coach George, were looking down and watching it. So I always think back to the last Super Bowl he was at with Brucey's ice bath. So there's a lot of fond memories there. This is a good football team and a tough football team that I coached this year. I have so much respect for the way our players worked, the way they competed, the way they just brought it every single day, every practice. Certainly wasn't always perfect, but it was always a lot of effort, a lot of toughness, and a great will to improve and get better and correct mistakes and just become a better player and a better team. And we maintained that all year right to the end, right to our last practice on Friday over at the University of Houston. And one of the great coaches in this game that I've had the opportunity to work for, Coach Parcells. One of the things that he said that's always stuck with me is in boxing, the mark of a great champion is the one that can get off the mat and win. And I feel like that's what we did last night. Even though the score was against us, it didn't really feel like the game was out of reach. We were able to move the ball, we were able to make some plays. We just didn't have enough points on the scoreboard for quite a while. And eventually we were able to fight our way back into it. We had some great plays from our defense. After the onside kick, that was a big stop for us. Several stops, of course, and then after we had the kickoff and had good field position, they drove the ball down. Julio made a tremendous catch on the sideline. We were able to push him back out of field goal range and had the opportunity to get the ball on the final drive with it being a one-score game. So offensively, again, we moved the ball. Had a couple turnovers in the first half, but we able to move the ball and thought we had some good plays in our kicking game, especially those kickoff coverage plays, a lot of good situational plays that came up in the game. So that was a tremendous job by our coaching staff. Josh, Joe, Matt, they did a great job with their respective units, and we once again tried to play complementary football. Offense, defense, special teams, all kind of working together, feeding off each other, trying to complement each other throughout the course of the game. And it certainly came together in the last 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was. Got to give a lot of credit to Atlanta, Tom Mitrov, Coach Quinn, their coaching staff. They played us well. I mean, I'd say we had more than our hands full. Coach Quinn's defensive staff did a tremendous job. We certainly had difficulty with them. I think Kyle's did a tremendous job with that offense all year. And certainly last night, right from the first play, the toss back and the play action passes, and that's a good, very well coached football team with some very skilled players. So, as good as any, obviously, we faced all year. So it's with a great deal of pride that we were able to capture the championship last night. Again, this team earned it. They earned it all the way from OTAs to training camp to season, 14 wins, and then 3 more in the playoffs. Thought we responded to a lot of challenges over the course of the year. And couldn't be prouder of this group of guys. It couldn't be. So it's really an honor and privilege for me to coach these guys. They're tremendous work ethic, tremendous physical and mental toughness. They just compete and just won't stop competing. And we saw that last night. So what everybody saw last night in the fourth quarter and overtime from the New England Patriots is what I've been seeing for almost 7 months. And very proud to be the coach of this group. Mr. Kraft and his family have given us tremendous support, and we've had a great relationship. For 17 years, we've been able to continue to remake and remold certain aspects of the team. It was surprising to me when I should look at how many new players we had in this game compared to the Seattle game just 2 years ago. It's over half the team. So players like James White wasn't even active for the Seattle game. Had such a tremendous game and role in this one. So I just think that speaks to the improvement, competitiveness, and the job that our coaching staff has done developing younger players and continuing to try to improve the team at every opportunity we get. So overall, my thoughts on the game and last night of the season.
John Crick, Toronto Sun. Especially after a night like last night, people talk a lot about Tom Brady's heart, his leadership, his grit, but do we all not appreciate enough, do you think, Tom's passing abilities, specifically his accuracy?
I don't know how we can not. Look at Tom's career, his accuracy is tremendous. He's been an accurate passer, I'd say since really his second year in the league. I thought he made a lot of improvement in the 2000 season, his throwing mechanics, his throwing techniques. But by the 01 season, his accuracy was very good. So I don't think anybody throws the ball into more tight windows than Tom does consistently. And again, I think, with all due respect, I think it's really inappropriate to suggest that in Tom's career he's been anything other than a great teammate, a great worker, and has given us every single ounce of effort, blood, sweat, and tears that he hasn't. And to insinuate that this year was somehow different, that this year he competed harder or did anything to a higher degree than he ever has in the past, I think is insulting to the tremendous effort and leadership and competitiveness that he's shown for the 17 years that I've coached him. It's been like that every year, every day, every week, every practice. I don't care if it's in May, August, or January. Tom Brady gives us his best every time he steps on the field.
Bill, Bob Lauber from News International. You've been at this now since 1975, every single season.
I have to remind you all.
You ever think of how long you want to go with this?
Yeah, I really, my thoughts are just my commitment to the team, and again, this organization, what Mr. Kraft has done for me, and what a great partner he's been. I just want to do the best that I can for the great players and the coaches that I've had the privilege to work with. And I'm really thinking about, last year, next year, or some other year, just trying to live in the moment and do the best I can for our football team. And some of that is, planning. This is, it's a great year for us. We're going to be in business next year. We're going to have a schedule next year where we'll play that. So, we have to look ahead and prepare for that. But for right now, and up until a few hours ago, put every ounce of energy I had into making and do the best I could for this football team in 2016. So, that next year.
Of all your accomplishments, though, you put this season in perspective of maybe this being one of your greatest coaching jobs.
Well, I think, again, this is not about me. This is about a football team, and this was a great team. Again, this team earned what it got. It earned a championship because it went out there and performed better than anybody else, and they met all the comers in the AFC AFC, and they met the best team in the NFC. And Atlanta's a great football team, and they played great last night. I mean, it's heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for either team to lose this game. I can't imagine how they feel as well as they played. But in the end, that's professional football. That's why we all love it. It's the greatest competition in sports, and this game couldn't have been any closer. So they're all special. Last night was special. This year was special. But again, I don't want to take anything away from the 01, 03, 04, 14 teams. They're all special too.
Bill Mark Stapleton from The Record. Your players after the game talked about the mood at halftime, and that some players, Deron Harmon specifically, were walking around saying, this will be the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. Did you believe that, and did you notice the players with a different mindset at halftime?
Yeah, absolutely. Our players, again, as I said, they compete every day, every play, as hard as any team I've ever coached. I mean, these guys they just work hard and they compete. And absolutely, at halftime, and Deron was great. He's on the stationary bike. He had a positive energy that permeated through the team, although it came from a lot of other people as well. There was never any doubt in anyone's eye. We didn't have control of the score, obviously, but we felt like we moved the ball. We made stops on defense. We made some plays on defense. I mean, it's 21-3 at the half, but had we not given up the 3rd and 10, had we not thrown an interception for a touchdown, it's an entry game. It looks a lot different, but we did, and Atlanta made those great plays, so we had to find ways to overcome that. But we didn't feel like we weren't competitive in the game. We just weren't competitive in the score. And unfortunately, we got to the end of the 3rd quarter, and we still weren't competitive in the score. We're looking at the same deficit at the end of the 3rd quarter, essentially, that we had at halftime. We hadn't been able to close the gap, even though, again, I thought that there were signs that we were maybe gaining a little bit of control of the game, but we weren't gaining control of the score. And it was a very unusual game. We didn't play much defense, and we played twice as many plays on offense as they had, whatever it was. So, but no, at halftime, again, this team is resilient. I thought the coaching staff, Josh, Joe, and Matt did a great job of just what we talked about, identifying what Atlanta was doing, identifying clearly, laying out the plan for the second half, which is a little bit different from the first half based on the way they were playing. So we got a lot of outside runs, we got a lot of man-on-man coverage, with an extra defender inside. None of those were unexpected, but I would say the percentages of them that we got were higher. We saw the matchups that they had in terms of man coverage were, they declared. So, we just tried to take the information that we had and coach it better and prepare the team better for the second half. And I think eventually all those plays that we ran on offense, that our conditioning paid off and our mental toughness paid off. We were able to have good execution at the most critical time in the game, and that's really what the champions are decided. This is how we play under pressure in critical situations. And our offense and our defense and our special teams. Steve gave us 2 great kickoffs for field position, that those guys responded in those critical situations.
2 more questions.
Coach, first of all, congratulations. Will Gavin, TalkSport. Second straight Super Bowl, Dante Hightower made a game-changing play. One of a number of free agents on the defensive line, Branch. How key is it to keep him, particularly Dante, around to make sure this defense is still playing at the same level next season?
Again, absolutely. That was a huge play by Dante. Freeman had him in pickup, and Dante put an outside move on him, and was able to knock the ball free. Without that play, I think we needed a play like that somewhere along the line in this game, and that was the time that we got it, and it's time we needed it. So it was a tremendous play by High. He's been a great football player for 5 years, versatile player, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, 70-edge defensive end, and some passing situations. Very similar to what he did at Alabama, very similar to what Coach Saban told me he would do for us. I said, it's got to be on the field for you every down. Just a question of where you want to put him. Put him at the end of the line, you can put him off the line, you can rush him. He can do all those things. And not only that, High's smart. He's tough. He gives us good leadership and a lot of the communication, we have some moving parts on defense. And High does a great job of sorting some of that out, making checks, having communication with the front, getting that organized. And sometimes especially against a team like Atlanta that challenges you with some tough formations and personal matchups. I does a great job of that deal that I did last night. That was a huge play they made for us, and I'm not sure we could have won without that play, but as far as saying about 50 plays last night, that was certainly, that's got to be in the top of the list.
Hey, Bill, WPRI, Providence. I know you don't like to look back or look ahead when you're in the grind of the football
Right.
season.
Right.
And you stay pretty busy in the offseason with the NFL calendar. When, if at all, will you kind of take a deep breath, soak this in, and when will you officially change the name of your vote to 7 rings?
Yeah, working on it now. So, yeah, that's one of the highlights for sure. You know, it's in the NFL season. You know, the calendar is what it is, and so you know, as of today, and as great as today feels, and as great as today is, in all honesty, we're 5 weeks behind in the 2017 season to most teams in the league. So, fortunately, we have a great personnel staff. Nick Casario, you know, Miles and Ford and Dave Ziegler and Pro, those guys do a great job. But I mean, look in a couple of weeks, we're going to be looking at the combine. Obviously, the draft, all-star games have already occurred. In a month, we're in free agency. So, not to mention all the internal, you know, Patriots players whose contracts are up that we're going to have to, you know, work with in some form or fashion, like every team in the league does. So now's not really the time to do that. I mean, I'd say if you don't do a good job with your football team in February, March, and April, you're probably going to see that in November and December and January. And so the downtime for us is really from the end of OTAs and mid-June until the start of training camp in July. Actually, it's kind of good that we're not allowed to view the players at that time, so we can't see them. They want to see us, and we don't want to see them. And we have another 6 to 7 months, depending on how long the season goes, after that. So that's really our downtime window. And I'll be on 7 rings at some point there during that time. But right now it's tough because we go from this right into, as I said, draft, free agency, and before you know it, we'll be in the off-season program in April. So it's, I know it seems like a long way out, but when you're as far behind as Atlanta and New England are right now relative to the 17 season, we've got some catching up to do, but it's where we want to be, so no complaints. Thank you very much. One last thing, I'd just like to thank the city of Houston, certainly the University of Houston facilities over there, and the cooperation we got from Coach Appleway, Mike O'Shea, and all the people there. That facility, it was great. As good as any facility we've had in Super Bowl experiences. JW Marriott, our host hotel, was awesome. And just overall, I want to thank the city of Houston, the people of Houston, certainly the police and law enforcement officers who gave us such great courtesy, help, and direction when we needed it. It was a great week for us, and we thank the city of Houston for their big part in it and making it such a wonderful weekend for the Patriots and all of our fans and our football teams. So, thank you very much.